Hi, Adrian here. I've lived in Edmonton for 31 years, and this month will be 5 years living in Calgary. And now that I've given them both a fair chance, I must say that I do love both cities equally, but in different ways. What is so interesting about living in Calgary is looking at all the differences and the similarities between the two cities. The Battle of Alberta. Last week, I went up to Edmonton for my niece's grad at the Expo Center, where before I decided to get my Burger Baron fix and my green onion cake fix, which who knew that Burger Baron sold green onion cake? Do you like my dress? Costco, 20 bucks. I haven't washed it yet because Calgary's kind of in an emergency water supply issue right now. We're trying to preserve water. Laundry, dishes, non-stop. While I was out for a rip between Edmonton and Calgary on the QE2, you see some odd stuff. Every trip you see something different. Like this yahoo. Come on, buddy. Get out of the passing lane. He's all over. I had to get away from him. Tailgater. I was checking my Facebook while I was charging, and I looked at this Crack Max Calgary post about the water main break. It made me think of making a video about the Battle of Alberta, the differences between YEG and YYC. And this is where I insert the desperate plea to like and subscribe. I only need 50 of you to monetize my channel, so please! Let's start talking about Edmonton. Capital city on Treaty 6 territory. Edmonton has the greatest fans. Go Oilers! Going to Edmonton and noticing Wayne Gretzky Drive and all the Oilers flags all over the city, it just proves that these fans are the best fans. The Edmonton Elks or the Calgary Stampeders, I would say go Riders go, way out in right field. I've only ever been to a Calgary game to watch the Riders. Commonwealth is so much better than McMahon Stadium. Same with Rogers compared to Saddledome. Expo Center versus BMO Center. BMO Center is getting there. Edmonton definitely has a one-upmanship when it comes to the malls. West Edmonton Mall is amazing. At one point, it was the biggest in the world. Galaxyland, the mind bender. But there's also Kingsway and there's also Southgate, where the legislature is. City Hall also has a fun pool that you could swim in. Edmonton has a better buy and sell market. The cost of living is lower and the houses are cheaper. Groceries are cheaper. The Windspear, the Citadel, they have really good venues for concerts and sports. The River Valley is the largest urban parkland in North America. Elk Island, Wabamun, Lois Hole Provincial Park, Fort Edmonton. The people are known to be more blue collar and friendly and more approachable. People are more laid back. I remember field trips when I was a kid. We'd go to the AGT Tower, which is now the TELUS Towers, and they actually had like a lookout deck. Why don't they have that now? They do have La Ronde, but I've never been there. There's nothing like the Calgary Tower. The Stantec Tower is the tallest building at 66 floors. The Taste of Edmonton is done in a park instead of a parking lot. I've been to many events at the Convention Center. Burger Baron, Sawmill, Royal Pizza, the only melting pot in all of Canada. Freson Brothers is my favorite grocery store of all time. Have you ever checked out the one in Barhead or Hinton? The closest Freson Brothers to me is in Drumheller. There's a dinosaur coming out of the building. Green onion cake. I cannot find good green onion cake in Calgary. Edmonton is shaped like a square. Festival City, The Fringe in Old Strathcona, Heritage Festival at Horlock Park, street performers in Churchill Square. I couldn't pick a favorite. Jasper Avenue, 124th Street, the Ice District, White Avenue, K-Days. There's better employment opportunities. It's the best place to be if you're in a zombie apocalypse. Most of my family and friends live in Edmonton, and I miss them very, very much. Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, Leduc. Some of the things that I've heard said about Edmonton is that it's the world's largest trailer park. Edmonton, it's colder. Come on, construction, construction, construction. It'll be better when it's all finished. In the winters, you lose a whole lane from snow. It doesn't melt with Chinooks. You see photo radar way more in Edmonton than you do in Calgary. It's a 3.5-hour drive to get to mountains. The river is brown. There is more crime. The LRT in Edmonton will look very nice when it's done. And who could forget Pigeon Lake? Cars cost less in Wetaskiwin. In. Here's Musco cheese. That used to be Hobima. Sunny 94 when you're in Lacombe. That's 94.1. Now I'm gonna stop in Dead Rear for a charge. What came first? The gasoline alley at Heritage Park or the gasoline alley in Red Deer? It's pretty cool. I got to see a frunk of a Ford F-150 Lightning at the Chargers. Don't judge my Tesla, it identifies as a Hemi. Some of the similarities we have is we both have a love for Alberta beef. There's no rats. They both have very interesting looking downtown libraries. Farmers markets galore. The arts are both amazing in both cities, but they're very different. The murals, the venues. South Jubilee, North Jubilee, apparently they're identical. The folk fests, they're both great in both cities. The red license plates, when you go to other provinces, they really stick out because everybody else has blue or green. The brewery culture, natural disasters, tornadoes and floods. There's cool bridges in both cities, the Peace Bridge, the Walterdale Bridge, the High Level Bridge with the streetcar. Who has the best drinking water? I am on pipe watch. Need to catch up on my laundry. I did have a 3-minute shower this morning. Calgary and Edmonton both sit on hold for TELUS and Shaw. They both have decent Italian bakeries, not to mention the Italian Center. No, what is it called in Edmonton? Italian Center, right? Italian Center. Yes, the Italian Center shop. They only have one in Calgary. We have low taxes at 5% GST, the dry prairie air. There's great camping spots all over Alberta. Oil and gas and agriculture run the province. Both deal with extreme cold warnings. Have you ever seen a jackrabbit or a coyote? Some of the differences: red buses versus blue buses, street grid versus quadrants, the Royal Museum versus the Glenbow. We're waiting for that one to be finished. Silver balls versus silver ring. Now that I'm leaving Gasoline Alley, look at this. This guy just totally cut me off getting out of the Tim Hortons drive-thru with his double-double. Poser cuts me off. Look at these gophers, aren't they cute? It looks like they're hitchhiking. Let's talk about Calgary. Calgary or Calgary. It's hard to pronounce. How do you pronounce it? It is on Treaty 7 territory. There are views. Closer to the mountains, closer to the States, closer to British Columbia, closer to hot springs. The Stampede, the cowboy culture, the cowboy trail. Cross Iron Mills is an amazing mall. It has the Bass Pro Shop. And all these other stores. Old Navy tank tops for $7. The Calgary Zoo is bigger and better, I think, in my opinion. Chinooks. I love Chinooks. Not everybody loves Chinooks. Some people get migraines from the pressure change. I find myself being outdoors more, noticing the birds, noticing deer. Nose Hill, Fish Creek Provincial Park, Princess Island, Bowness Park. Kananaskis has amazing hikes and ponds and rivers and waterfalls. The rivers are blue. The lake communities. Edmonton only has one lake community, where Calgary has like 8 or 9. The painted boulders at the University of Calgary. This is something that I just discovered. They have boulders all over the property of the University of Calgary where they paint them and put messages on them. There's world-class fishing here, brown trout. The bow habitat is very interesting. You could go feed the baby fish. Big Sky Country. It is the sunniest place in Canada. There's a bigger bike culture. This is where ginger beef was invented. The Caesar, the drink, was invented in Calgary. It is shaped like a rectangle. Studio Bell and Canada's Music Hall of Fame is quite the place to check out. I need to make a video on that. By the way, did you subscribe? Like Mardi Gras in Marda-Loop? At Cold Garden, you can drink beer with dogs and babies. Calway Park. The tallest building in Calgary is Brookfield, with a close second being the Bow. The coffee roasters, Kingdom Coffee, Phil and Sebastian's, Fratello's, Analog, the Calgary Heritage Roasting Company. There's so many options. The Calgary Tower. It has an observation tower where you can see mountains. Major Tom's is a restaurant on the 40th floor. I've heard great things about their cheese toast. Haven't been there yet. There's cool restaurants really in both cities. Olympic Plaza and Winsport. Great souvenirs from the 1988 Winter Olympics. The airport has more direct flights. YYC has more flyers than YEG, which are the airport codes, by the way. Boogie's Burgers, Little Empire. Luke's Drugstore is a pharmacy that has ice cream and records and plants and coffee. Calgary Co-op has Cal and Gary's, which has funny puns on the front of all their products. I have more time for myself here, and I remain anonymous. I like my anonymity. Now, as for the things in Calgary that aren't the greatest, I've noticed that their parking stalls are a lot more narrow. The Deerfoot and its aggressive drivers, I will avoid it if I can. The people can sometimes be a little snobby, but then again, there's snobs that live everywhere, and there's good people that live everywhere. Am I a snob? No, I'm not a snob. They are known to be more white collar, and sometimes approaching people. Since I've lived here in the past 5 years, they've looked at me like I've had 3 heads when I've asked them to get together. The one-upmanship when it comes to talking about Edmonton. The sea of houses when you drive in, it's just hills full of houses. Little boxes made of ticky-tacky. It is more expensive to live in Calgary. Groceries, rent is higher. Buying houses is higher. You always stay in your quadrant. If you have friends in other quadrants, you never see them. I had someone tell me, friends don't let friends live in the knee. Really, I actually like the knee. It has the best restaurants, and it has an H&W produce, which is from Edmonton. Edmonton has like 6, Calgary only has 1. If you are an Edmonton basher or a Calgary basher, don't talk about something if you don't know about it. If you're calling it the world's largest trailer park, maybe you haven't given it a chance. It's an awesome city. If you're calling people snobs, their snobs live everywhere. And good people live everywhere, like myself. I think the one-upmanship really has to do with the sports culture, and when you don't really watch sports, it's not an issue. Come on, go Oil! Let's root for being Albertan and meet in the middle. Sylvan Lake rather than Dead Rear. Is there anything I missed? What do you love about Calgary and Edmonton? Please, no bashing. Trying to keep things positive here. Be nice, you fucking yahoos. Any video suggestions that you think I should put on this channel next? Please comment below with your ideas. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Dang's Dumplings. Righteous Gelato. Check them out on Too Good To Go. The Ring Roads. Anthony Henday is just a smaller version of Stony Trail. Stony Trail, Stony Plain Road. Gotta talk about the Red Mile. Anyways, I hope you learned something today. That's enough. I've rambled enough. Seriously, did I forget anything?